Blessed are the poor. Blessed are those who are now hungry. Blessed are those who weep. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Jesus gives us several of these beatitudes. I'm going to focus on the first one. I sometimes think the first one is all we really need because the first beatitude is foundational. If you are in sync with the first beatitude, you can be in sync with all of them. If you are out of sync, then you will be out of sync with all of them. A poor child captivated by the charismatic owner of a chocolate factory is granted a life-altering opportunity through a golden ticket, an opportunity shared with 4 other children, though their journeys take vastly different turns. The beloved tale of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, whether experienced through film or the pages of Dahl's book, introduce us to a host of characters, each of whom offers a reflection of ourselves. The story draws us into the journey of deep reflection, where we encounter trials, temptations, and ultimately transformation. But how does this story help us understand the first beatitude, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven? At first, this may seem perplexing. The phrase poor in spirit can sound like weakness. But Jesus calls us to a different way of thinking. He challenges our belief that we are in control. Instead, he reminds us that true blessing comes from recognizing our need for God. We are not self-sufficient. We are created for relationship with him and with one another. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory illustrates this beautifully. The other children fail not because they were unworthy of the opportunity, but because they were unwilling to let go of their selfish desires. They believed they had everything figured out and saw no need for change. This self-reliance and arrogance blinded them to the real gift before them. And this mirrors the spiritual reality Jesus warns us about. When we trust in our own power, status, or wisdom, we close ourselves off to God's grace. Charlie, on the other hand, enters the factory with a heart that is open and excited. He does not assume he deserves anything. He is simply grateful to be there. His humility allows him to learn, grow, and ultimately inherit something beyond his wildest dreams. This is the essence of being poor in spirit. And what about this statement, I will be happy when? There are endless responses. We sometimes associate happiness with fleeting joys, family, success, achievements, even the beauty of a sunset. I think Jesus takes that idea and transforms it. Instead of happy, he uses blessed. True blessing is about life rooted in God's grace. Jesus starts with, blessed are the poor in spirit. To be poor in spirit means to approach God in humility, recognizing our dependence on him. The word poor here describes complete poverty, total reliance on another one for survival. But it is not the material wealth or poverty that Jesus speaks of, but the state of the heart. The poor in spirit do not rely on their own strength, but instead truly, fully trust in God's mercy and provision. Poverty is painful. It strips people of dignity and leaves them longing for even the smallest of kindness. Likewise, spiritual poverty, our recognition that we bring nothing before God but our needs, opens us to his grace. The poor in spirit come to us with their brokenness, hoping to be healed. Come sinful, longing for forgiveness. Come grieving, yearning for comfort. Come weary, needing rest. It is precisely this humility, this openness, that makes us ready to receive God's blessings. But many of us resist. We strive for control, for self-sufficiency. Yet Jesus tells us, blessed are the poor. Blessed are those who come to God on their knees. We work as hard as we can. We try to do the best we can. We can desperately try to be in control of our lives. But Jesus gives us a value system that places humility over pride, dependence of God over self-reliance. Jesus reveals his deep connection to those who suffer. He did not create us for misery, but in Christ he meets us in our suffering. Jesus walks among those who have been rejected, hurt, or burdened by life. He carries our struggles as saying, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves, for my yoke is easy and my burden light." The Beatitudes are a calling. They set high standards, but also offer a promise. No matter how difficult life becomes, God is with us. Life's burdens may seem unbearable, but with him, no weight is too heavy. My prayer for us today is, Lord, teach us what it means to be poor in spirit. Help us to release our need for control, to surrender our pride, and to place our full trust in you. When we are weak, remind us that true strength comes from you alone. When we feel empty, fill us with your grace. When we struggle, walk beside us and bear our burdens. May we, like Charlie, approach with open hands, grateful hearts, and a willingness to receive all that you have for us.